Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Hello dear students, welcome to another lecture. In this class, we are going to begin with the Unit 1 of Nagaland Board Class 12, Education Psychology. So we over here obviously are learning about education and the relevance of psychology in education. Now, this unit is going to focus on understanding the concept of education. What is education and why is education so important for us? Then we shall learn about psychology. We'll understand what is psychology, what are the various characteristics of psychology, what are the different branches of psychology, and how and why do we need psychology with the education? How does psychology enable a betterment of the education scenario? We learn the difference, between psychology and education, and we also learn the relationship that exists between the different professions that we. So basically, as the name suggests, education psychology. So the first unit is going to focus on the importance of learning, the importance of gaining education, and why and how is psychology valuable? How and why is psychology important when it comes to education? So this is what we shall be learning in the first unit. Now, as I have told you that we are going to learn about education. Now, what is education? First, let us talk about that. We know that the human beings are made up of two aspects. A human life is divided into two aspects. There are two phases of a human life. One is the biological and the other one is the sociological aspect. So this is how we can broadly classify our human life into. Now when I talk about the term biological, now what is biology? We all understand biology means everything that we gain through nutrition. We came into this world owing to reproduction, which is a part of biology again. So whatever, human life we are able to maintain, we are able to transpire because of the biological changes that take place in us. They refer to the biological aspects of the human life. On the other hand, the word sociology. Sociological changes, the word social is what we get from sociological changes. Social means something that connects you to the society. And how are we connected to the society and how well are we going to be able to connect to the society? With the help of our education. It is only and only how well educated we are. Is it going to be determined? Is it going to be decided? How well, we can get in sync with the society? How well we can adjust and adapt to all the changes that take place around us? And what is the kind of relationship, the social relationship that we have? So a human life, as I told you, we are made up of biological aspects. Obviously, biology is what makes us. And then the second thing that defines something in us is our sociology, the social aspect of our lives. Now, we know obviously that we are different from the animals. And why are we different from the animals? Because we are educated. We say this, there is nothing else that is different. Both of us are living beings, both of us eat, both of us sleep, both of us respire. Both of us have got sense organs, and everything remains the same when I compare a human being and an animal. But what is the most remarkable difference that exists between the two? That is the education. A human being is different from an animal because a human being is educated. And this is where education comes into picture. This is how education separates us from the other living organisms and even from the other human beings. We are going to read ahead that even two human beings are different from one another, and that again depends on the quality of education that they have. Fine. So basically, a man, when we say that a man is different from an animal, the reason why we feel that a man is different from an animal is because he's educated. And because a man is educated, he's obviously intelligent, he is more active, he's more energetic, and has got original thoughts and ideas with himself or herself. And that is the reason why we are able to achieve big in life. We've never seen an animal getting success. Why? Because of the lack of education in their species. On the other hand, the human beings, if they make the most out of their education, can achieve, an infinite height, can achieve the apex of success in whatever field they proceed towards. So now basically, why and how does education separate us, from the other human beings or from the other animals? Is by what we learn out of them, what we derive out of them, how much we gain out of them. This is what is going to define us, is going to define our character, and is going to further define our success in life. Now, obviously, because of all the things that we've talked about, now education is something which defines the complex nature of human personality. We all know that every human being has a different personality. And as I told you already, a human being is going to be differentiated from the animals and even from the other human beings on how well they are educated and how much they have gained out of the education provided to them. We also understand that the environment in which we live is very complex in nature. And how to derive the best of whatever opportunity falls your way is again something which is smart and something which is appreciable. Every person has got different philosophies of life. That also is because of the kind of education that they have derived. Their practices, their theories, their principles, their ethics, everything that they follow, that they do not follow, everything is different. Why? Because everybody interprets education in their own way. They get what they want to get from the education, and people who end up becoming more successful than the others are basically because of the worth that they have understood of education. And that is why, dear students, we again and again emphasize on the fact that getting educated is important. But right education, getting the right, idea of how to get yourself educated and what to learn, what to retain in your mind is more important. So that is why we say education is important for us. Now, on your screens, you can see these are a few definitions, the 5 definitions that we have for education by some of the most learned, the wisest people across the world. We have Mahatma Gandhi, who feels that education means all round drawing out of the best in child, man, mind, and spirit. It means literacy is not the end of education or even the beginning. It is one of the means through which a person can get educated. Like I have told you, everybody goes to school, but not everybody is educated. You know why? Because not everybody ends up learning. There are so many people who do go to school but only are physically present rather than getting anything beneficial out of them. So, like this, my dear students, there are 5 definitions that you can see on your screen. We have Mahatma Gandhi, Sri Aurobindo Ghosh, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, then we have Upanishad, a definition which is taken from Upanishad also, and Bertrand Russell. Now, one piece of advice that I would like to give to each one of you, that whenever it comes to writing a definition, you have to make sure that the definitions written by you are exact. Okay, your definitions cannot be changed in your own words. When it comes to the concepts, yes, everybody has a different way of explaining or writing the answer. But the definitions have to be written accurately and in the most proper manner. There should not be any discrepancy from what we see on the screen and what we can, write in our papers. So please do remember and learn your definitions very well. Now, again, as I told you, those were the 5 definitions which were delivered, which were written by Mahatma Gandhi, Aurobindo Ghosh, Bertrand Russell. Other than that, our psychologists have also laid down some operational definitions. Now, what do I mean by functional and operational? If I say, let's say for example, I have a ceiling fan in my room, but that ceiling fan is not functional in nature. What is the difference between that? Something which is there on my ceiling can be seen. Okay, I know there is a ceiling fan for the sake of it. But what is the use of a ceiling fan which is not functional in nature? Nothing. It is going to be useless. Similarly, education, unless and until it is functional, unless and until we know how to get the maximum out of education, unless and until we learn how to derive the maximum benefit from education, it is going to be of no use to us. Just going to school, sitting with the books open on our screens in front of us on our desk is not going to help us any better. It is only when we are going to, practice all that we have learned and we understand, we comprehend the things well, we will not be able to get the maximum out of it. And that is why it is said that education is a lifelong process, It is not that I can learn only from the age of 12 to 20, let's say, or 15 to 35. No. From the mother's womb to the graveyard. That means that since the time you are conceived, you are inside your mother, you start learning. By the way of your mother, you start learning things. And your education stays with you till the time you die, till the time you're buried in your tomb. Now, when I talk about education, there are many aspects of education. We have schools, we have colleges, where we go to learn. But other than these formal places where we go to learn something, there are so many informal organizations, there are so many informal agencies that end up teaching us. Our parents, our home, the movies that we watch. If we want, we can learn something from those movies also. The newspapers that we read, the web series that we see, maybe the environment, if we get a time to look at the environment around us. Even the social networking sites, if they are utilized in the most appropriate manner, can end up telling us, can end up educating and teaching us, right? For example, if I say that I am watching some movie, some sci-fi, some, scientific movie that I am watching on the television, there are so many new things that I would be able to learn out of it. Some new scientific terms, some new inventions, some theories, some principles, and on the top of it, some good vocabulary, their accent, their pronunciation. So, from everything that we read, that we watch, that we hear, there are multiple things that can be learned out of it. Now, we get education, and this is the most surprising factor about education, that at times you get education, at times you learn, even when you are not aware of it. We think that only when we are going to school, we are going to learn, we are going to get education. That is wrong. At times when we are playing with our friends, then also we can learn something or the other. As I gave you an example of watching a movie, we learn something from that. Talking to a friend on phone probably is going to teach you, is going to impart you with something new that you probably did not know. Helping your mother in the kitchen, learning about the spices, the importance of the different spices that we have. That is again education. And therefore, whatever experiences we have in life, every experience teaches us in one way or the other. Every experience is educative, and that is why we say that learning is a continuous process. It is not something which is confined to a number of years. It is something that will continue to move ahead, that is going to move with you in life. We grow old, we learn more things. So this is why the education, when we say, is so important for each one